It still was respectable ratings by the end, but that slide happens. And what that means is when you get to the end of your contract, do you keep the show going? Well, Discovery's not going to want to pay us more to keep on doing the show.
For years, Adam Savage and the Mythbusters team thrilled millions by testing unbelievable rumors, wild internet claims, and crazy Hollywood stunts to see what was real and what was fake. The show wasn't just about explosions and experiments. It was about curiosity, teamwork, and daring to ask questions no one else would. But while fans were glued to the screen, behind the cameras something very different was happening. Tensions, hidden struggles, and decisions that few expected began to shape the fate of the series. Then, seemingly at its peak, the show was canceled. For a long time, Adam stayed quiet about the real reasons. At 58, he finally breaks his silence. And what he shares is far more troubling than anyone imagined. Join us as we uncover what he revealed. Adam's unbelievable revelation. At a fan event back in 2017, Adam Savage was finally pushed to open up about what really happened behind the scenes of Mythbusters and why the show came to an end. His explanation wasn't sugar-coated, and it revealed just how complicated things had become after more than a decade of smashing myths on television. Adam explained that the show had already been on air for so long that he had renegotiated his contract 3 different times, with the last deal being signed in 2010. At that point, the program was enjoying its highest popularity. But over the next 5 years, the ratings slowly began to decline. Even though the numbers remained fairly strong compared to many other shows, the downward trend made the network hesitate when the contract was coming to an end. Discovery Channel was no longer willing to increase the salaries since viewership was dropping, and both Adam and Jamie refused to work for less. On top of that, the cost of producing such a big show was expensive, which meant the network was starting to lose money. Adam admitted that all of these factors seemed to align at the same time, and it felt like the right moment to close the chapter. The one silver lining was that Discovery gave them the chance to announce the end properly, and to say a heartfelt farewell to the audience, which is rare in the world of unscripted TV. After 14 years of working non-stop, both Adam and Jamie were exhausted anyway. The decision to end things was officially made in 2015. But they were granted one last season to wrap everything up and leave on their own terms. Still, that was not the last time Mythbusters appeared on television. In 2017, the Science Channel attempted to bring it back under the new title Mythbusters: The Search, this time with completely fresh faces. Industrial designer John Lung and pilot and rescue diver Brian Loudon stepped into the spotlight, but the magic wasn't quite the same. The reboot struggled to capture the same excitement and was canceled after only 2 seasons. In 2019, another version emerged called Mythbusters Jr. This time, Adam Savage returned as the host, joined by 6 talented kids with skills in science, technology, engineering, and math. The show followed the same myth-testing formula and ran for 10 episodes from January to February of that year. Whether it will ever return remains uncertain, and as time has passed, many believe the franchise has quietly ended. But when people talk about why the original series was canceled, one more theory always surfaces: the complicated relationship between Adam and Jamie. They worked side by side for 25 years, but they were never close friends. They admitted they had no personal bond outside of the show, never even sharing a private dinner together. Their partnership was strictly professional, and at times, it was far from easy. Adam has openly said that they often got on each other's nerves, though they always tried to handle it and move forward. Jamie himself described their dynamic as tolerating each other rather than enjoying each other's company. Filming also created its own frustrations. Building and designing experiments in front of cameras was much slower than doing it privately. And for people deeply passionate about engineering, that kind of delay could be draining. Over the years, those tensions added to the exhaustion. All these details show that the cancellation wasn't just about numbers. It was the mix of falling ratings, financial strain, tired hosts, and a working relationship that was never truly warm. Now, to fully understand why everyone is really interested in Mythbusters' cancellation, let's rewind a bit to how it all started. The explosive journey of Mythbusters. Mythbusters began back in 2003 as a science-based entertainment show created by Peter Rees and produced by Beyond International in Australia. From the very first episode, it captured the attention of viewers all over the world. The series premiered on the Discovery Channel and quickly spread to countless other networks internationally, giving fans everywhere a chance to watch daring experiments unfold on screen. At the heart of the show were Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman, two special effects experts who turned everyday questions, rumors, and even crazy movie scenes into full-scale investigations. Using creative builds and scientific methods, they set out to prove whether popular myths were true or nothing more than fiction. The program was filmed in San Francisco, while editing took place all the way in Sydney, Australia. Over the years, a total of 282 episodes were produced, making it one of the longest-running shows of its kind. Adam and Jamie often worked from Jamie's own workshop in San Francisco, where they planned and carried out many of their experiments. When the myths required bigger setups, more space, or unusual equipment, the crew packed up and filmed at various locations around the Bay Area, across the United States, and sometimes even in other countries. As the show grew, Adam and Jamie were no longer the only ones doing the heavy lifting. In the second season, part of their behind-the-scenes crew stepped into the spotlight and formed what became known as the Build Team. This group, made up of Kari Byron, Tori Belleci, and Grant Imahara, carried out their own set of myths and operated from a different workshop. Their addition gave the series a fresh dynamic and even more stories to tell. For many years, the two teams worked side by side, splitting the workload and delivering unforgettable experiments. But in August 2014, everything changed. At the end of an episode called Plane Boarding, it was revealed that Kari, Tori, and Grant would no longer be part of the show. Their departure marked the end of an era, and from that point onward, Mythbusters returned to being just Adam and Jamie on screen. They carried the series alone through its final 2 seasons, keeping the spark alive until the very end. Finally, in October 2015, the producers made an announcement that stunned fans worldwide. Mythbusters would be ending after its 14th season. The last episode with the original cast aired on March 6, 2016, closing the chapter on a series that had changed science television forever. 14 years of explosions, experiments, and unforgettable myths came to an end, leaving behind not only memories, but also an incredible legacy that still inspires curiosity today. After leaving Mythbusters, Kari Byron, Tori Belleci, and Grant Imahara came together once again to lead a brand new Netflix series called White Rabbit Project. The show, which premiered in December 2016, carried the same spirit of curiosity and adventure, but explored completely different themes. They ran wild experiments and tests on exciting subjects like prison escapes, superhero-style technology, daring heists, and even powerful weapons from the Second World War. Fans were intrigued, and the reviews were fairly positive, but unfortunately, the series only survived for 1 season before being cancelled. The following year, Mythbusters itself made a return. though in a very different form. In November 2017, Discovery's sister network, Science Channel, launched a revival of the classic series. This version featured two fresh faces, John Lung and Brian Loudon, who had earned their spots through the competition show Mythbusters: The Search. Filmed in Santa Clarita and at other locations across Southern California, the reboot managed to keep the brand alive for 2 seasons before wrapping up in 2018. Around this time, Adam Savage also came back with his own spin-off, Mythbusters Jr., where he guided a group of talented kids as they tested myths using science, creativity, and plenty of enthusiasm. But the experiments did not stop there. In 2021, Beyond Television launched yet another new version of the franchise called Motor Mythbusters, this time on the Motor Trend Network. Tori Belleci returned for the project, teaming up with engineer B.C. Ezerioha and mechanic Faye Hadley. Together, they shifted gears to focus on myths and urban legends about cars, engines, and everything in the world of automobiles. That same year, older episodes from the original Mythbusters seasons were repackaged into a condensed format titled Mythbusters: There's Your Problem, which was made available on streaming platforms. These special versions cut out everything but the experiments themselves and their final results, giving fans a quick and thrilling way to relive the magic. Over the years, the word Mythbusters has come to mean more than just the title of a television show. For millions of fans, it also represents the cast members themselves, the fearless team who dared to test the unbelievable, push science to its limits, and inspire generations with their unstoppable curiosity, which was the actual thing they wanted the world to see. The real story behind Mythbusters' creation. At first, Mythbusters was called Tall Tales or True, and it aimed to explore wild stories that people had been telling for years. But Discovery turned the pitch down because they already had a show planned on a similar subject. Instead of giving up, Reese reshaped his vision. He suggested digging deeper into the stories by putting their most important parts to the test instead of simply retelling them. That twist made all the difference, and Discovery agreed to create a short pilot series of 3 episodes to see how it would work. When it came time to find a host, Jamie Hyneman was among several special effects experts invited to send in a casting tape. Reese already knew him from an earlier interview he had done on Beyond 2000 while covering Robot Wars, a British-American show about battling machines. Jamie had the technical skills and the experience, but he didn't feel like he had the charisma to carry the show alone. That's when he brought in Adam Savage, a fellow effects artist he had worked with before on commercials and BattleBots. Adam's energy and personality were the perfect balance to Jamie's calm, no-nonsense approach, and together they became the faces of Mythbusters. The show quickly found success beyond the United States. By July 2006, a shorter 30-minute version of Mythbusters was airing on BBC Two in the United Kingdom. In Europe, Discovery even aired episodes with extra scenes that were never shown in America. Some of those bonus clips were later packaged into special outtake episodes, giving fans more behind-the-scenes fun. Over the years, the program continued to grow, eventually reaching its 14th season in January 2016. But that season marked the end of an era, as it was the last time Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman would appear together as hosts. Their journey of building, testing, and sometimes blowing things up finally came to a close, and fans around the world felt the loss deeply. Still, Adam wasn't done sharing his passion for science and creativity. In January 2019, he returned with Mythbusters Jr., a fresh spin on the original series. This time, instead of working alongside Jamie, he was joined by a group of talented teenagers who shared a love for science and problem-solving. The new show debuted on the Science Channel and was later rebroadcast on Discovery every Saturday morning, also reaching audiences overseas. It carried the Mythbusters spirit forward, showing a new generation how fun and inspiring it could be to question the impossible. Every episode of Mythbusters carried viewers into a world of curiosity, where the team set out to test 2 or more fascinating myths, stories from the internet, or widely believed rumors. Many of these challenges came straight from the kind of thrilling stunts people had seen in action-packed movies and television shows, especially those involving wild mechanical effects. The ideas for these myths came from all sorts of places, sometimes from the cast and crew's own experiences, but often from excited fans who shared suggestions on the Discovery Channel forums, hoping to see their favorite myths brought to life. Some episodes went beyond the usual format and took on special themes like pirates or sharks, which gave the show a playful edge. These themed adventures were often called specials, and sometimes the myths were so big and complicated that an entire episode had to be dedicated to just one. In fact, by 2009, 4 massive myths had taken center stage all on their own, while others even expanded into double-length specials. To make the episodes more fun and festive, the team occasionally built whimsical Rube Goldberg machines, especially during their holiday-themed episodes, giving fans even more to marvel at. The presentation of each myth was just as entertaining as the experiments themselves. Before diving into the actual testing, the hosts would sketch out the myth in blueprint style, setting the stage with creativity and humor. A lighthearted video would often follow, laying out the details of the myth in a funny, easy-to-digest way, before the team jumped straight into building, blowing up, and experimenting. It was this mix of science, comedy, and storytelling that made Mythbusters not just a show about testing myths, but an unforgettable adventure every single time. While we walk through the walls of Mythbusters' legacy, Adam Savage's name remains unforgettable because of the kind of impact he had on the show. So, to know how he got to that level and influence, we need to know more about his life. Adam's career and talent. Adam Savage's career has been a colorful journey through countless creative fields. Before Mythbusters made him a household name, he had already worn many hats like animator, graphic designer, carpenter, projectionist, film developer, set builder, television presenter, toy designer, and even gallery owner. His talent for building and imagination opened doors to Hollywood, where he worked as a model maker on some of the biggest movies of their time, including Galaxy Quest, Bicentennial Man, The Matrix Reloaded, Space Cowboys, The Mummy, and even Star Wars, Episode II, Attack of the Clones. His hands helped craft the miniature details that brought those films to life. Adam didn't just stay behind the camera, he also made appearances on screen. In the 2001 film Ever Since the World Ended, he played a helpful engineer, while in the 2006 dark comedy The Darwin Awards, he popped up as a quirky Army surplus store owner who sells a rocket engine for a pickup truck. That movie even featured his Mythbusters partner, Jamie Hyneman, making their dynamic reach beyond their famous show. Television gave him even more chances to step into the spotlight. In 2008, Adam and Jamie appeared together on an episode of CS1 Crime Scene Investigation, blending their scientific mischief with crime drama. He was also featured in the behind-the-scenes material of The Matrix Revolutions, where he explained the tricky miniature effects and the challenges that came with them. Away from the screen, Adam shared his knowledge by teaching advanced model making at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, shaping future designers with the same creativity that powered his career. Adam also became a familiar face at science and skeptic events. In 2006, He attended James Randi's famous skeptics gathering known as the Amazing Meeting, where he continued to appear regularly for years. He credited Michael Shermer for introducing him to that community, even being interviewed for Skeptic magazine in the same year. His passion for curiosity and critical thinking took him across the world. In 2009, he gave a talk in London at the very first International Amaz-Eng meeting, hosted at the Mermaid Conference Center. On top of that, Adam was a featured performer at the W00T stock shows, a festival that mixed science, comedy, and geek culture. He even showed up as a guest on the 220th episode of Dignation, adding yet another chapter to his long list of appearances. Adam Savage never really slowed down after Mythbusters ended, and his journey shows just how much he loves sharing science and creativity with the world. Since 2008, he has been a regular face at the famous Maker Faire, where he chats with crowds about everything from his unusual fascination with the extinct dodo bird to the importance of solving problems in creative ways. Fans would often take the chance to ask him about his Mythbusters days, and he never shied away from answering with the same excitement that made people love him on screen. His curiosity stretched far beyond blowing things up. He even hosted an episode of Discovery Channel's series Curiosity, diving into one of humanity's biggest questions, whether people could live forever. During the show, he explored futuristic ideas like growing back missing body parts, creating organs with machines, and even turning back the aging process. Around the same time, he stepped into acting with a small role in a short film directed by Frank Ippolito called Night of the Little Dead, proving just how versatile his talents really were. That same year in November, the University of Twente in the Netherlands honored him with a doctorate for making science and technology fun and accessible to everyone. It was a huge recognition for someone who built his career on sparking curiosity in others. Working alongside his Mythbusters partner, Jamie Heineman, Adam also tried his hand as a judge on the game show Unchained Reaction, which hit screens in March 2012. He didn't stop there. He often stepped onto big stages as a guest host for events in San Francisco's City Arts and Lectures. And in 2014, he delivered a powerful keynote speech at the world-famous South by Southwest conference. By the time 2012 came, he even addressed thousands of people at the first-ever Reason Rally in Washington, D.C. And later that same year, he inspired graduating students with a commencement speech at Sarah Lawrence College. Adam also embraced the online space with the same passion. He started co-hosting a weekly podcast called Still Untitled, The Adam Savage Project, in June 2012, where he sat down with Will Smith, Norman Chan, and later Simone Giertz to talk about everything from movies and science to work habits and personal projects. Each episode felt like a friendly chat, lasting about half an hour, and gave listeners the chance to see another side of him. On top of that, he became deeply involved with Tested.com as a co-owner, editor, and regular contributor. Through this platform, he kept reaching fans, teaching, experimenting, and staying connected with the creative world. By 2017, Adam Savage was still proving to the world that his love for science and performance had no limits. That year, he went on tour with Michael Stevens for the Brain Candy Live show, bringing exciting experiments and knowledge straight to audiences in a way that felt like a mix of theater and science fair. That same year, he stepped into acting again, this time appearing in the sci-fi series The Expanse, where he played a mission specialist in the episode titled Caliban's War. His impact went far beyond entertainment, and in June of 2017, the American Humanist Association honored him with the title of Humanist of the Year for using his platform to encourage reason, compassion, and scientific thinking. Just when it seemed like he had done it all, 2018 brought something even more exciting. Discovery Channel revealed that Adam would return with a brand new series, Mythbusters Jr., this time guiding a group of young minds as they tackled experiments using science, technology, engineering, art, and math. His role wasn't just to host, but to inspire, shaping the next generation of curious thinkers. Around the same period, he teamed up with the legendary Weta Workshop to create and star in a short film titled A Farewell to Arms, showing once again how creativity and science could come together in powerful storytelling. The same year, he received the Heinz Oberhammer Award for Science Communication, a recognition that highlighted how deeply his work connected people with science in fun and meaningful ways. In 2020, his career took yet another exciting turn when Silicon Valley Comic-Con named him their new creative director, taking over from none other than Steve Wozniak. It was a role that perfectly matched his blend of imagination, technical skill, and passion for community. But Adam didn't stop creating magic there. In 2022, he was given the honor of becoming the godfather of the Discovery Princess cruise ship, a rare and prestigious role that showed just how widely respected he had become. Then, in 2023, he turned his attention to history by carefully building a special case for the Royal Society to hold the death mask of Isaac Newton, a project that tied his craftsmanship to one of the greatest scientific minds of all time. Speaking of craftsmanship, let's not forget that it was this same action that made him a fan favorite in Mythbusters. To confirm that, you need to keep watching. Adam's delicate role in the Mythbusters. For 13 unforgettable years, Adam Savage was at the heart of Mythbusters, from 2003 until the show's final bow in 2016. Alongside his co-host Jamie Heineman, he became known for putting myths, legends, and wild stories to the ultimate test, using experiments of every size and scale. What made the partnership so fascinating was the contrast in their personalities. Adam was always lively, bursting with excitement and energy, while Jamie carried himself with a calm, almost stoic presence. Together, they created the perfect balance that drew millions of fans in. When the show first kicked off, it was just the two of them steering the experiments. But by the second season, they began opening the doors to more teammates. This gave rise to fresh faces like Carrie Byron, Tori Bellezzi, and Scotty Chapman, who quickly became favorites among viewers. Later, in the third season, Scotty Chapman stepped away, and Grant Imahara, a brilliant model maker and robotics expert, stepped in to take her place, adding even more spark to the team's dynamic. The entire production was brought to life in San Francisco, though much of the editing was handled in Artarmon, New South Wales. Across the years, the show grew into a global phenomenon, running for a staggering 2,082 episodes before its end. But Adam himself wasn't done carrying the spirit of Mythbusters forward. As we already know, he proudly returned years later as the host of Mythbusters Jr. For him, it wasn't just about busting myths anymore. It was about passing the torch to a younger generation and showing them the joy of curiosity and discovery. Now, aside from investing so much in the growth of his career and Mythbusters, he never failed to live a fascinating, off-screen life. Life behind the cameras. Adam Savage's life off-screen has been just as colorful and layered as the years he spent thrilling fans on Mythbusters. In 2004, he tied the knot with Julia Ward, while already being the proud father of twin boys from a past relationship. Beyond the lights of television, he has lived with a personal challenge: hearing loss caused by a condition he was born with. which led him to wear hearing aids in both ears. Rather than slowing him down, it became another detail that showed his resilience and determination. During the late 1980s, Adam carved out his path in New York, living in Brooklyn's Park Slope while working for a graphic design firm in Manhattan. That chapter didn't last long, as he briefly returned to live with his parents. But fate pulled him westward. A close friend in San Francisco invited him to share a place, and in 1990, Adam made the move that would ultimately become permanent. San Francisco became the city he planted roots in, and it remains his home to this day. His personal beliefs also sparked conversation over the years. In 2011, he described himself openly as an atheist. But later, in 2019, he leaned more toward calling himself an agnostic, showing a shift in how he framed his worldview. In the next year, he revealed another surprising side to his life. Over the course of 25 years, he had actually officiated around 20 to 25 weddings, hinting that he had been ordained through the Universal Life Church, a group that believes in simply doing what is right. And then there was his working relationship with Jamie Hyneman. Fans always wondered if their chemistry on screen meant a deep friendship behind the scenes. Adam has been honest about it. They were not close friends, but what they shared was even more important: a foundation of respect. They worked together without sugarcoating words or worrying about bruising feelings, because what mattered most was honesty and trust. That balance was part of what made their partnership so unforgettable, even if it wasn't built on friendship in the traditional sense. Adam Savage's love for costume making and cosplay has been with him since he was a boy. He often looked back on childhood memories of dressing up in fun outfits, from wearing a Jaws costume his mother bought him to proudly putting on a Batman suit. Unlike the common costumes of his time, he always wanted something that felt authentic and creative. While still in high school, he and his father went the extra mile and built a full suit of armor out of aluminum roof flashing, securing it with 700 rivets. He wore it proudly to school, but the heavy metal took its toll and he fainted during math class. When he woke up in the nurse's office, the only thing on his mind was his armor, showing just how deep his passion for costume building ran. But beyond these light-hearted stories, Adam's life took a painful turn in 2020 when his younger sister, Miranda Pacquiana, filed a lawsuit against him. She accused him of molestation during their childhood, shocking both fans and the wider public. Adam denied the allegations, describing them as false and deeply hurtful, and he vowed to fight them. Their mother stepped in to defend him, expressing heartbreak while saying that Miranda was struggling with serious mental health challenges and that it was devastating to see the family torn apart in this way. The case eventually reached a conclusion in May 2021. It was resolved through mediation, and the lawsuit was dismissed the very next day. The terms of the settlement were never revealed, but part of the resolution included Miranda removing her original blog post that had started the legal battle. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.